that everybody's got.
Okay. And then another question, is there a kind of engagement framing for practicing with reading sutras, like being open, letting the words move through?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. My project is to I've got, as I said, almost all the translation done. The parts I've posted are done, and I'm just polishing the rest of it that hasn't been posted yet. But all of that is surrounded by introduction that introductions, a longer introduction than the pages I've posted, and also many footnotes and things. So I'm only able in this, to talk about some of them. But one section of the introduction is exactly that you've mentioned. I'll find it here. It's labeled. Where is it here? How to read a sutra generally.
That's awesome. Thank you.
A sutra should be read with reverence and faith, not preconceived beliefs. Reverence means to read with an open mind, and at the same time, trusting in the assurance that the three jewels, that's Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, are trustworthy. Trusting in the assurance that the three jewels are trustworthy. One aspect of faith means to read with the trust that the sutra has a purpose, and reading with an open mind will reveal the purpose and make that purpose real in our lives. Another aspect of faith is to know that the words of the sutra are not to be believed in as an objective or intellectual doctrine, but trusted as pointing to our own mind ground of Buddha nature, as a finger points to the moon. There are two kinds of preconceived beliefs mistaken for faith that will hinder our receiving the sutra. The preconceived beliefs of true believers and the preconceived beliefs of doubters. Academic scholars come to the sutra with the preconceived belief that reverence and faith are to be put aside in order to be able to read the sutra objectively. However, this academic view is itself a subjective preconceived belief that also prevents reading the sutra objectively. The academic scholar misses the forest for the trees, misses the practice for the program. On the other hand, it is just as wrong to read the sutra with the uncritical views of a fundamentalist true believer. Faith does not mean to be uncritical of what is heard, but to listen carefully, knowing that the meaning is not contained in the words, but in the import that the words are pointing at. Faith in Buddhist sutras means to trust that the sutra is speaking of our own mind, not something foreign to us or outside of our own mind. The fundamentalist reading is not a faithful reading because it posits a literal meaning outside our mind and calls this the literal objective truth. Reading like that misses the trees for the forest. That's not objectivity any more than an academic bias. The reverential open mind means to read the sutra in a manner to receive it and hear it on its own terms, and the faithful mind means to read it critically with an ear to hear and become aware of the nature of mind that the speaker is actually pointing toward.
Right.
So that's the gist of how I answer that question.
That was really grounding and orienting. Thank you. I'll go back and reread that. And Gregory, thank you. I just want to be so touched and grateful for your